Yo, what is going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can completely automate building your email list using n8n. This is extremely useful if you're running an online business and you want to be able to use lead magnets to pull in more clients while simultaneously creating your email list that you can use anytime in the future. That being said, the example I'm going to use for this video is giving out a free GPT prompt that allows it to sound more human. The method we're going to be using is setting up a Google form that allows users to enter in their email address, and once that form is submitted, it will automatically trigger an n8n automation that records their email and then sends them the product. So let's jump right into step one, which is going to be creating the Google form. To do that, we're going to head over to our Google Drive. Once you're in your Google Drive, just head over to the big new button and we're just going to select Google Form. Now you can give this form a title, so I'm just going to call it Human Prompt. And in the description, I would say something like, once you submit the form, you will receive an email within 2 minutes containing the human prompt. All right, so the first thing I usually like to do is collect the user's name, but I do leave it optional because we don't actually need their name. We just want to collect it because it may be good to use in the future if you want to send out personalized emails. So I'm going to go ahead and just title this first section name, and it will automatically switch to short answer, which is perfect, but I will leave the required toggle off. Now, the next thing we're obviously going to need to do is collect the email address. Now, rather than adding a new section where we write email address, making it required and whatever, all we need to do is head over to settings, and under responses, you can click on the section called collect email address. We're going to change that from do not collect to responder input. And now when you go back to the questions page, you'll see it automatically makes them put in their email address before submitting the form. Great. So the next thing we're going to need to do is just title this so we know where to look for it when we set up the n8n automation. And then we will head over to the responses tab. Now here you can see there's an option to link to sheets. We're going to need that because the trigger we're going to use in our automation is going to be from the Google Sheet. So we're going to go ahead and click that, and then we will create a new sheet, and you can leave the name as is. We'll go ahead and press create, and you'll see it's automatically going to create that Google Sheet and bring us to the page where we have our timestamp, our email address, and then the name. Great, so we've successfully completed the first step, which is setting up the Google form and the Google Sheet. The next thing we're going to do is create another Google Sheet to create a master email list, because I'm sure you're going to have multiple products in the future, not all coming from the same Google form. So what a master list does is when you're ready to send out your newsletters or just batch send emails using your entire email list, you won't have to go through each of these individual Google Sheets connected to all the Google Forms. So we're back in Google Drive now. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new Google Sheet just like that. And you can title it Master Email List, and then just enter the sections you want. So you can put in timestamp, you can put in name, and you can put in email. So now that that's set up, we're going to hop into n8n so we can start building the automation. All right, so once you're in your n8n account, go ahead and create a new workflow, and the trigger we're going to be using is going to be the Google Sheets trigger. So you can go ahead and search for that. And we will be using on row added. Now go ahead and connect your credentials if you haven't already done so. Mine are already connected, so I'm just going to choose the document that we just made. Now the trigger is going to come from the Google Sheet linked to the Google form, not the master email list Google Sheet. So we're going to choose that one, and then we will select the sheet itself, and that is the entire setup. Now the next node we're going to use is going to be the Google Sheet node, so that we can import all the emails collected from this Google form into the master Google Sheet holding all the emails from all your different forms. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Let's search up Google Sheets again, and we will choose append row in sheet. Now here's where you want to select the master email list. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We'll select sheet 1, and then we will leave these values to send empty for now. We will come back to that to set it up. All right, so now that we've set up collecting all the emails, the next part of this automation is going to be sending the information or the product to the user that just filled out the form. So there's a few different ways to do this. Because I have a domain with my business, I actually use resend so that I can create a no reply at mycompanyname.com. But you are welcome to use the Gmail node or Outlook node to send your emails through Google and Microsoft's domain. Although if you do have a registered domain through GoDaddy or Vercel or whatever, it is better to use resend so that it's a little bit more professional coming from a no reply at yourdomain.com. So for this tutorial, that's what I'm going to be doing, but the method is essentially the same if you're going to be using Gmail or Outlook. And setting up a second email address, such as a no reply one, using resend is fairly simple. So I'll link some of those tutorials down below for you guys. All right, so now that that's out of the way, the next node I'm going to add is going to be the HTTP request node, like this. And this is where we're going to connect our resend account to. So we are going to switch this method to post. And for the URL section, this is going to be the same for everyone. So you can copy it off my screen, or I'll drop it down below in the description for you guys to copy, but it's going to be api.resend.com/emails. Now for authentication, we will leave that off, but we will send headers and we will be using fields below. Here is where we can type in authorization, and the value is going to be your API key. So we're going to type in bearer like this. And now if I head over to resend, you will see on the left side tab bar, there is API keys. We'll just go ahead and click that, and you can press create a new API key just like that. Give it a name. I'm just going to call it test. You can switch the permissions to full access, and then domain, you can keep it as all, and then press add. Then just like that, we can copy our API key, head back into n8n and paste the value right here. So now we are going to add another parameter. This is just going to be the content type and application/JSON. So let's go ahead and do that now. Content-type, and then the value will be application/JSON, just like that. All right, so now we're ready to actually send the body. So this is what we're going to include within the email. So I'm going to press send body, and we're going to actually be using JSON for this. And I'm just going to expand this. So to type out the JSON, we're just going to do an open curly bracket, and then the next line is going to be the from email. So we're going to type in from like that, and we will add a colon. And here's what you're going to want to put your resend email address and also the name of your company, let's say. So for me, this is going to be 6flow automations like that. And then within the angled bracket, we're going to type in our email. So no reply at 6flow automations.com, and then we will do closed angled bracket, and then we will add the quotation mark and then a comma. Next, we're going to add the to field. So we're going to do that again. So to, just like that. And here is where you're going to want to input the email that is being sent to. Right now, we're going to leave this blank because we're going to hook that up to the email address coming in from the Google form. So I'm going to leave that blank for now. We will add the comma. And then the next thing is going to be the subject. So we'll just type subject like this. And for the subject, I'm just going to call this human prompt, just like that. And then finally, we will add the text. So here we will put text with a colon. And here's where you can actually add the text. So just a heads up, when you're sending an email through resend, you do want to use the \n for a new line rather than just hitting enter. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste this in because I've already written it out just like that. And we will put this in quotation marks just like that. And then finally, we will close this off. And that is it. We have set up the JSON body for this node. All right, so now we've successfully complete the automation itself, but there are a few fields that we had to leave blank because we don't have any sample data to work with. So what I'm going to do actually is activate this workflow. And now we're going to go fill in the information in the Google form so we can pull in some test data to complete the rest of the automation. All right, so I'm back in the Google form. We're going to go ahead and publish this, and I'm going to click publish. I'll press shorten URL, and I'm just going to copy this URL. Now I've opened a new tab where I pasted the link in. So you can see it's asking me to fill out my email. So I'm just going to fill that out, and then I'll put my name as well. And I'm just going to press submit. Great. So now if we go back to the workflow, we should see an execution right here. It looks like there was an error because there are fields missing, but that is okay because the data got pulled through successfully. We're going to click debug in editor. So now we have that data pinned, and I'm going to open this secondary node, and I will switch this to JSON so that we can drag in the information. Right here, we have timestamp, we have email address, and then we have name. And then the next thing we need to fill out is the to field within the resend HTTP request node. So to do that, I'm actually going to have to run this node so that it pulls the data through. So then we'll go into the HTTP request node, and I will scroll down to the body, and right in this to field is where we're going to want to drag the email address, just like that. Make sure it's within the quotation marks, and now we are good to go. All right, and then once that's set up, I'm just going to unpin this, and we will give it a save. And now if I head back into the Google form, I'll submit another response. I'll fill out my email and my name, just like that, and I will press submit. And then if I go back into n8n, we should see the execution went through, just like that, and we should receive the email, which we will go check on right now. All right, so I've just logged into my email, and you can see that my most recent email is the human prompt, just like that. And there you have it, guys. We have successfully automated an email list builder. Now all you have to do is promote your product through your social medias. Drop the link of the Google form in your bios in your social media account so that users can click it, fill in their email, and get sent the product automatically. If you guys found this useful, again, hit that like button, drop a sub, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.